Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious figures in ancient texts, a man so close to God that he never experienced death. His name, Enoch. Imagine this. Instead of facing the end of life as we know it, Enoch was taken directly to heaven. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? But what made him so special? What can we learn from his extraordinary journey? Before we begin, leave a comment below. Do you believe it's possible to walk so closely with God that you transcend the ordinary limits of human existence? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, let's explore the story of Enoch, a man whose life reminds us that faith isn't just about belief. It's about action, surrender, and an unshakable connection to something greater than ourselves. The world Enoch lived in wasn't much different from ours today, at least not at first glance. Humanity had strayed far from its original closeness to God. Corruption, violence, and chaos were spreading like wildfire. It was a dark time, but amidst all the noise, Enoch stood out. Born into the lineage of Seth, the third son of Adam, Enoch carried within him the bloodline of those who once walked in the Garden of Eden. But more importantly, he carried a spark, a longing for something eternal, something pure that set him apart from everyone else. From a young age, Enoch seemed different. There was a curiosity in his eyes, as if he was searching for answers no one else dared to ask. As he grew older, his reputation began to spread. People noticed that Enoch wasn't like them. While others chased after wealth, power, or pleasure, Enoch lived in another dimension entirely. He saw the world differently, as a reflection of God's presence. For him, the rustling leaves, the starry skies, and even the quiet moments under the shade of a tree weren't just part of nature. They were whispers of the Creator. I think about this often, how easy it is to lose sight of the divine in our daily lives. We get caught up in routines, distractions, and worries, forgetting that there's something bigger at play. Enoch reminds me that faith isn't passive. It's about tuning into that frequency of God, even when the world around us seems chaotic. He didn't isolate himself, but he also didn't conform to the ways of the people around him. Instead, he chose a path that led him closer to God every single day. One night, everything changed for Enoch. Lost in prayer and meditation, he felt a presence so strong it was as if the air itself was vibrating. A voice, not audible but clear as day, spoke directly to his heart. It was a calling, a pull towards something he couldn't yet fully understand. From that moment on, Enoch's life took a new direction. He realized he could no longer live like everyone else, chasing fleeting pleasures or temporary gains. This call invited him to something higher, a journey of complete surrender. Let me pause here for a second, because this resonates deeply with me. How many times have we felt a tug in our hearts, urging us to pursue something greater? Maybe it's a dream, a purpose, or simply a desire to live more authentically. Enoch teaches us that following that call requires courage. It's not always easy to step away from the crowd and walk alone, but sometimes that's exactly what faith demands. As Enoch continued walking with God, his connection deepened. He didn't just pray, he talked to God. He felt the Creator in everything around him, from the smallest wonders of creation to the vastness of the night sky. Over time, Enoch began to see beyond what human eyes could perceive. God revealed hidden truths to him, profound insights about good and evil, creation, and the mysteries of heaven. Yet despite these revelations, Enoch remained humble. He didn't use this knowledge to elevate himself. Instead, he used it to strengthen his devotion and obedience. This fascinates me. In a world obsessed with recognition and validation, Enoch's humility stands out. He didn't seek applause or approval. His only goal was to live in harmony with God, and you know what? That's where true peace comes from. When we stop chasing external validation and focus on nurturing our relationship with the divine, we find a fulfillment that nothing else can provide. But Enoch's journey wasn't without challenges. There were days when doubt crept in, when the weight of the world threatened to pull him back. Still, his conviction never wavered. Every time uncertainty arose, God's presence would renew his strength and fill his heart with peace. This gives me hope. Faith isn't about never doubting, it's about trusting even when doubts linger. Enoch shows us that walking with God means leaning into him during both the highs and the lows. Over time, Enoch became a living example of what it means to be truly devoted. Wherever he went, his presence left a mark. Some admired him, others distrusted him, but no one could ignore him. He was like an oasis of serenity in a desert of chaos. And yet, Enoch wasn't concerned with how others perceived him. His focus was singular, to remain close to God. Isn't that inspiring? In a world obsessed with opinions and appearances, Enoch reminds us that our worth isn't determined by what others think of us. It's determined by the quality of our relationship with the Creator. As the years passed, Enoch's connection with God grew so intense that he no longer seemed to belong entirely to this world. It was as if his soul inhabited a space between heaven and earth. While others grappled with their struggles and passions, Enoch walked in silence, enveloped in a peace that transcended earthly concerns. Then one day, something extraordinary happened. Enoch simply disappeared. Can you imagine the shock of those around him? They searched everywhere, called his name, retraced his steps. But there was no trace. Only emptiness remained where once stood a man whose presence brought unparalleled peace. The news spread quickly, and soon stories circulated that God himself had taken Enoch. To those who knew him, this explanation made perfect sense. After all, Enoch had always been different, like someone who already belonged to another reality. Reflecting on this, I'm reminded of how fleeting our time on earth truly is. What will people say about us when we're gone? Will they remember us as someone who sought the eternal, or as someone consumed by the temporary? Enoch's legacy challenges us to live intentionally, with our eyes fixed on what truly matters. After his disappearance, Enoch became more than just a man. He became a symbol of hope and mystery. His story was passed down through generations, inspiring countless individuals to seek a deeper connection with God. For many, Enoch proved that the Creator is closer than we realize. Walking with him isn't about achieving perfection, it's about choosing him day after day in the small decisions that shape our lives. So, what can we take away from Enoch's story? First, that faith is a choice, a daily commitment to prioritize God above all else. Second, that humility and devotion go hand in hand. And finally, that when we walk with God, we touch something eternal. Our lives may not end the way Enoch's did, but we can still strive to live in such a way that our impact lasts forever. If Enoch's story resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever felt a calling to pursue something greater? Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear your perspective. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me on this journey of exploring life's deepest mysteries. Before you go, check out one of the videos appearing on your screen now. They'll perfectly complement what you've learned today.